two things that you need before you start your real estate team. I'm your friend and favorite real estate agent, Steve Shane here with the Daily C to give you the truth on how to grow your real estate business bigger, faster, and stronger. Everything we're here talking about is not theory, it's fact. It's what we're using in our business every single day, and we're here to give it to you. So there are two major things that you need in place before you bring anybody in to help you sell houses. And it's gonna kind of seem simple, but you have to understand just because it's simple does not make it easy. The most important thing that you need before anybody comes in, and you're going to think, oh, you're going to need leads. Are you going to need leads, Steve? You're going to say leads. I'm not going to say leads because leads need a place to live and they need a system of attack. So majority of people who are going to join your team are two reasons they're going to join. I don't have the ability or skill or desire to go out and prospect. And then once I do get somebody, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. And then the other one is, I know I could be better, I just need a little bit of structure. So those two things, when we're talking about following up on leads and getting opportunities, those two things need to go through a CRM or a system. So it's important that you pick a system that is flexible and diverse, that can work with a lot of different APIs. And what an API is basically one piece of software talking to another seamlessly, something that can be used Zapier links or if this and that. And if you're not using a system that easily works with other things that you can grow and contract upon, what you're going to end up happening is you're going to get into this cycle, which so many team leaders do, is I don't like my CRM, I'm changing it. I don't like my CRM, I'm changing it. And if you continue to do that, that means you keep reinventing your wheel. And if you keep reinventing your wheel, you get momentum and then you're taking 3 steps back. You get momentum and you're taking 3 steps back. So we don't want that to happen. We want to continue momentum. So basically your CRM is the cornerstone of your business. And when we talk about cornerstone, let's talk about building structures. Cornerstones in masonry is the major piece of, it's the most important rock on the whole entire concrete structure, because that one, if it's not level, if it's not straight, the whole building goes this way or the whole building goes this way. So that cornerstone has to be perfect. So make sure that once you pick your CRM, you are so dialed into that. Once you have your CRM, then you have to figure out your automations, because you don't want to be in there trying to rewrite all your team members' emails, rewrite all their text messages. You need to give them a system that they can tap right into and then immediately start to see performance and growth and enhancement in their business. So you need to sit down and write out your email scripts. You need to write down your text message scripts. Look at your automations. You also need to look at, does this CRM interact with any sort of, back end systems to help my transaction coordinator get transactions done. And that leads us to number 2. We need systems that talk to each other, but also you cannot be the person using that system and being the main operator of that system. The main operator of your system is that director of operations or that admin role. So the next thing you need before you bring anybody in is an effective administrator who ideally will eventually be your ops manager, somebody you can grow with. So you have to kind of breathe into them that right now this feels like menial work, but over time we're going to grow into a big organization. So the work you're doing now is going to pay off in the future. If you continue to sing that song and breathe life and a dream into that person, they're going to show up and continue to do work. But you need that person because you're going to still be in production. You're going to still be in production as much as you don't want to be, or maybe you do want to be, you just want a little relief. You need that admin who is your admin, not just a transaction coordinator. They are going to run your CRM. They're going to run your email campaigns. They're going to do all your transaction coordination. They're going to make sure those mailers go out on time. And for that to happen, you have to work with them in the first 2 or 3 months that you're working with them to really write out all the standard operating procedures, which are called SOPs, standard operating procedure. SOPs, get them in a binder, get them in a Google Drive. So when I get a listing, this is what we do with a listing. When I get a buyer's agent, this is what we do with a buyer's agent. And it's completely outlined, and then that needs to interact with your CRM. Once you set that foundation, that is the most important part of your foundation. Those two pieces working together, your operations and your systems. Because you're the sales team. And every business is broken into operations, operators, and salespeople. And the salespeople also do your marketing. So keeping that in mind, if you're not right now actively seeking out an administrator or an operator who can take over your business over time, or who is willing to do that tedious, painful work of creating SOPs and systems. They have to like love spreadsheets. That person needs to look at a color-coded Excel spreadsheet and be like, oh, give me more of that. That's the person you want in that role. They're not going to interact well with salespeople, but they're going to be so good at that it's not going to matter. And they're going to be the mama bear, the papa bear who's protecting the system by always having that system. And then once you have that, then you set your standards, and you know what your standards are for how many calls do they need to make a day, and you're going to set those standards. And once you have those things in place, now we can bring in people. Because if we don't do that, now we're making this up as we go along, and you're going to lose agents, and they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth, and your production's going to go down because you're going to be spending too much time coaching people, blah, 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 blah. So build that foundation first. Build those systems first, and then you will accelerate so much faster than every other team that's building out there. And I know that for a fact because what I did was I watched what successful teams were doing, and I asked my mentor, how did we do this? And he said, if I did this over, this is how I would start. So when somebody who's on track this year to sell 1,200 homes in a year tells you, if I were to start over, this is how I would do it, do what that person does. Do what that person does, because success leaves clues. And I heard a great quote the other day from an internet superstar marketer named Alex Hormozi. He says, until you make more money than the guy who taught it to you, do not change the system. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to do that. I've built my foundation through my software and my applications. I've got my administrator in place. We've brought people in, and we're accelerating in growth way faster than your average team can grow. And then after this, we got to talk about what leads are, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Guys, thanks for watching. I'm Steve, your favorite friend and favorite real estate agent. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button and hit that notification bell so we can stay in touch. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow on the Daily Steed.